Okay, are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording. Yeah.
Okay, let me immediately derail this. 1 second.
Okay. Oh, he's grabbing a guitar.
Yeah,
Okay.
guitar's been grabbed.
This is a movie podcast.
Okay. I've never played this before, right?
Oh shit! So we're
I
getting
wrote
a
it.
song.
I wrote it while I was taking a piss earlier
Okay.
in work. Okay. What was? Hang on. Okay, hang on.
Oh,
I'm
hang on.
thinking.
He's thinking.
Oh yeah. Spreading bullshit, whatever it costs. But the translation was lost.
Oh wow!
Woo!
That's a little theme song.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a little theme song.
So learn that on mandolin for next time.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. it's 3 chords. It's the 3 most basic chords.
Wait, which chords are they?
G, C, and D, and then G again.
Yeah, those are all chords I can play on the mandolin.
Yeah. So you can definitely play that on a mandolin.
There are some chords on the mandolin that you look at like a chart for, and you're just like, nah, fuck it. I'm not doing that.
Brian plays mandolin for everyone. I play guitar. If you couldn't.
He plays guitar, but that's not the point of this podcast.
No, the point of this podcast is the thing I brought. 1 sec. That's also not the point of this
That's not the
podcast.
point. You're doing your best to derail this immediately.
Yeah, I really
You're doing
am,
your best
yeah.
to derail this immediately.
So here's the thing, right? I thought we were going to be recording this in your other man cave, right?
Oh shit!
Because this room we're in is man cavey, you know.
Yeah.
There's like guitars and musical instruments, and it's lovely. It's a really nice room.
It's nice.
But in your other man cave, you've got like loads of like knickknacks and
Yeah,
loads of
yeah.
like things, and it's a really well decorated room.
Thank you.
And I kind of felt like I should have some kind of decoration of my own.
Okay.
So every time we do this podcast, I'm gonna bring something.
Oh shit! You're gonna bring a little decoration.
Yeah, and pretty much all of them are going to be Batman themed because that's the majority of the stuff I own. So for this week, it's this lamp.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah,
he's take a picture of that and put it on the Twitter.
Yeah. He's a little Batman.
Oh,
he looks
great.
real angry. He doesn't work anymore, so we can't turn him on. But yeah.
So we've pretty much confirmed that this podcast is going to go on for 1,000 episodes because of all the fucking stupid Batman shit that you have. I call it stupid. I have so much stupid shit.
Yeah, but it's not all. Yours isn't all centric to one specific thing.
Oh, it's just stupid when it's Batman.
Yeah, it's fair. I was talking to my girlfriend about this idea where I was like, I'm gonna bring a different thing, and she was like, the majority of the Batman stuff you own is like canvases. And I was like, yeah, that does pose a little bit of a problem. So I'm thinking somewhere in this room, I'm gonna stick a nail. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just
gonna stick a nail somewhere.
bring a different.
Without me knowing about it, and I'm like, oh, something's different about the room, but I'm not sure what it is. So we should probably actually say what this is about, because we've just immediately went off on a tangent.
Yes.
So this is the translate. I keep getting the fucking name wrong.
But it's hard to know because we don't actually really have a name. We're torn between two at this point.
Yeah.
Because Brian. We were going to be called Lost in Translation, and Brian went through like the social media thing and set up like different platforms and stuff. But the name Lost in Translation was taken by like 15 other podcasts.
And, it's not just the name Lost in Translation being taken by someone. There are like 15 Lost in Translation podcasts. Yeah. So like fuck that.
Yeah. So Brian instead signed us up as Lost
the Translation.
Lost
I thought
the
it would
Translation,
be more literal,
as in we lost the translation.
So that brings us into what the actual.
Yeah, but then I said in the car, I was like, why not call it Translation Lost?
But it's too late. I've already made all of the social media accounts.
I feel like we might be able to change it. We'll look into that afterwards, and if we'll know for sure next time we do this what our name is.
So you can tell already that we're very professional. We don't. So this is either the Translation podcast or Translation Lost podcast.
Yeah.
And the aim of this podcast is to watch a movie, a foreign language movie, and discuss it afterwards. Well, we're not just going to watch a foreign language movie and discuss it. That's been probably done. We're going to watch a foreign language movie without subtitles and discuss it. Because we hate ourselves enough to sit in front of a screen for 2 hours and not know what the fuck is going on.
And just to specify, the movie that we watched for this first one, to come clean, it did have subtitles, but they were Indonesian.
Yeah, it's very hard to find a movie without subtitles. So the best I could do was find it with Indonesian, and I checked with Dara. He doesn't speak Indonesian.
No, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. So yeah,
it's been a while. It has been a while since your days in Indonesia. So before we get into that, I suppose, what have you been up to this week, Dara?
Fuck all.
Yeah.
No, I was in college, and I was in. Well, we're actually that reminds me. This is something I wanted to bring up
Yeah.
to you on the podcast,
Okay,
right?
okay.
So, for anyone listening outside of Ireland, who I assume is no one, right? Because it's probably just going to be like 15 people, maybe our friends.
Yeah, a couple of people
Yeah.
that we know.
maybe friends of friends.
So
if
for
we're
everyone
lucky.
who knows us.
Yeah. So, but you know, just in case, on the
Yeah,
off chance,
yeah.
there was like a hurricane in Ireland on Monday, right? So
yeah.
everyone, like the day before the hurricane, a couple of days leading up, were like, oh, you know, they say hurricane, it's just gonna be some shit weather. We're used to shit weather or whatever. But then it was pretty intense. It was a pretty intense hurricane. Like 3 people died or something, which is crazy for like an Irish hurricane. And then
For an Irish anything.
yeah. And then today. Today they were warning that there was another hurricane coming. So the one on Monday was Ophelia, and the one today was called Storm Brian. Storm Brian. And so I want to ask you, right? Having now experienced Storm Brian,
we've
how
given
does
our
it?
names.
Oh yeah, I'm Dara.
Yeah, he's Dara.
Yeah,
I'm Brian.
This is Brian.
Well,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
tell we've never done this before.
No,
and
no, never.
We did not plan.
So I need to ask you, how does it feel having lived through a storm named after you that was a bit?
Yeah, I kind of got shafted, to be
You
honest.
did
'Cause
a little
Ophelia
bit.
came out
Yeah,
and she was
yeah.
fucking,
Yeah.
she was blowing shit over. There was a picture that went around on social media of a trampoline in Knock that got impaled on the spire of the church. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that.
I
That's
think
fantastic.
it's true. I don't know if it's actually like real or not.
Yeah, well, I want to see
But it looked
regardless.
real, and it said that that's what it was. But I realize now that I never actually looked into it.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of got shafted, to be
Yeah,
honest.
you did a little bit. Yeah. But you know, it's probably for the best that there wasn't a terrible hurricane on the day that we were trying to record our first podcast.
'cause
So
the power goes here like anyone's business.
Yeah.
They just are like, nah.
yeah, so we're out in the middle of nowhere. Like we're in Ballin right now, which
Yeah.
is where Brian lives. So we're in his gaff in Ballin.
Just tell everyone my address.
Yeah, I did not. I'm not being specific.
If you have a problem with the podcast, you can call Dara's mobile. I played a game, the Road Redemption. It's really good. It's like a motorcycle, but when you lose in the game, sometimes a message will pop up that's like, having fun, call the developer, and it's the developer's like phone number. And it's
amazing.
a really hard game. It's like a tough game.
Is it really his phone number though? Surely
I don't know.
not.
It's American, so I can't.
I
haven't been able to test it.
assume not. I would have tried anyway, man.
Maybe I will. I'll try it for next week.
Give it a go. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I suppose next
Next 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
We're going to do this bi-weekly because we've got school and stuff to do.
Yeah, we're
college.
busy. I've got a
Busy.
job.
He's got a job.
Yeah, I have.
Fucking
yeah.
loser.
Yeah. Yeah. Soon this will be my job.
Sorry if
It'll be
there's
fine.
glasses and ice clinking.
Brian is 2 Canadians in, and he's on his way through a rum and coke.
Look, dude, it's Storm
And-
Brian. You expect me not to drink?
And I'm a 7.5 through, so we're flying.
Shit, dude.
Yeah, shit's getting crazy. Yeah.
So is that all you did? You just kind of hung out. Power went.
Yeah, like went to college and stuff. Yeah, I'm living with my girlfriend now, so hung out with her. Hung out with her dorm mates. Did an open mic. Sang some really like inappropriate music that I wrote.
Oh yeah.
But it was really well received. And
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then just work. Like I'm currently in a place in my life where I'm working. I'm working 4 days a week. I'm in college 3 days a week, so I do
Yeah.
not have a day off anymore.
See, I'm doing a lot of repeat subjects, so that means I get to do fuck all for half the week. I'm in like there is a day where like last week because of the hurricane, schools were cancelled and stuff. I had 1 class last week. That's all I did.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, you're repeating stuff. You get to like not do subjects again, and that's fucking awesome. You get so much free time to do other shit.
You see, this is the time where like assignments are due for me. This isn't interesting. It's a
No,
little
it's
interesting.
not.
It's not, but you know,
we just haven't talked in
Yeah,
ages, so
yeah,
we're
we
like
just-
catching up.
yeah,
with each
because
other.
like we got here.
Yeah.
I got here. Your dad drove me because he's
Yeah.
a really lovely guy,
Yeah.
and I got here, and then we were like, okay, we'll just you made a burger, and then we were like, right, let's watch this foreign movie. So we haven't gotten to
kind of
catch up.
purposely didn't talk though, because I didn't want to like have to repeat a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
on
run
here
out-
if
run
we were,
out
like,
of
run
good
out of shit
crack.
to talk.
Yeah.
Good crack.
Yeah,
It's all good crack.
Yeah, right. But we're like 10 minutes in, so we should just start talking about the movie we watched. Yeah. So what's it called again?
It is. We watched Crows Zero.
Yeah.
I realize now I probably should have got the fucking details of the movie.
You know the guy who directed it though, right?
Takeshi Miike. He's directed other movies like The Audition, which is like a lot of people.
And
know
he
that.
did the one that we were supposed to watch for this podcast.
Well, the one that I wanted to watch, but I didn't do enough research beforehand to realize that it's not actually out yet, only in film festivals, was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
But we will be doing that one.
Oh, definitely,
But
definitely.
Not now. So
Not now. We're doing Crow Zeros, which, to be honest, I'm very glad we did it.
yeah, surprisingly so am I. I feel kind of bad saying that. I was kind of hoping I'd hate it. Like,
yeah, you were hoping to. Yeah, you were just gonna sit here in agreement, like, good.
Yeah, we're pretty good. Crack. Like, I've got some shit to say about this film. Like, it's not like I'm bare. There's a lot of stuff to dissect in this movie. The first of which, so. I'm pretty bad when it comes to media. Like I love writing, but for some reason I don't watch that much stuff. I don't read that much stuff. You like watch and read everything, right? Or like
I watch and read a lot of like stupid stuff.
Yeah, well, like but like just loads of stuff. Yeah. And so we're doing
things with your life.
But we're doing a podcast right now. But there's literally only one podcast I ever listen to.
Wow,
and it's a movie podcast, and I love it to death and back. It's called The Weekly Planet, and they have a segment. It's not so much a segment; it's just a question one guy springs on the other every time they review a movie, and I feel like it's more valid here than it is in their podcast. So I'm gonna
shade is being thrown already.
Well, I'm gonna spring it on you the way that it's normally sprung on the other guy. Brian, what do you think the story was?
Oh fuck! So, as you know, we watched it without subtitles.
Yeah.
So everyone was speaking Japanese. We didn't. All right. So there was a guy called Genji, and if you've ever played any of the Yakuza series, he's Kiryu. He is just a stoic motherfucker who stands still. Is very beautiful and punches dudes super hard. At least that's what I got. I couldn't tell what he could have been the goofiest motherfucker ever, but we don't know because we don't know what he was saying. So he joins a gang.
I think he joined the gang. I think he joined a gang, but then he made his own gang, or maybe he was recruiting those people into the gang he had joined.
I don't like.
Should we run through some of the characters that we noted, and like some of them we had to make up names for?
I have notes here.
Yeah, but Brian's got notes, more detailed ones than I do.
I also have notes for all the. You can hear me crinkling the notes, so we sound extra legit. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna rattle through a couple of these really quick because I had some weird thoughts while.
Yeah, but we see. I feel like if we just barrel on about all these different characters,
we're not gonna.
We need to explain who some of them are beforehand.
But I realize now that a lot of these jokes, or a lot of these notes, were just kind of me being like, this is a funny note. And I realize it doesn't fucking tell me anything.
Yeah. Okay, we can do this, right? There's Genji, right?
Genji.
Main dude, real good looking.
Really cool.
Joins a gang, possibly forms a gang, right? Then there's Timon, right? His name's not Timon, it's like Timawa or something like that. But we found it easy.
Tomoa.
Yeah, but we found it easier to call him Timon.
Well, we just kept calling him Timon by accident.
His relationship with Genji was they did not like each other, as far as I could gather, specifically because Genji kicked over his game of checkers at the start.
But also, Timon took the blame for Genji at the start.
Which was really weird.
But did he, though? Because he did flip that cop.
Yeah, so basically, right, like, the way that it started was... a bunch of crazy bullshit happened that wasn't really relevant at all. But then this guy Timon gets on a motorbike, and his friend Tokyo is all, don't get on the motorbike or something, right? And then Timon
I think it was
drives,
a moped, actually.
Yeah, like it was a moped. He drives like full force into this truck, right? And he barrels forward and crashes his head into the truck so hard that he dents it. Right?
Oh yeah,
and then
breaks all the windows.
Yeah, and then he pulls out from that and just continues driving away, right? And then he cuts off a guy who's driving a car, and he like starts like swearing at him, and the dude like
we think he starts swearing.
Presumably he did. Yeah, it seemed aggressive anyway.
Yeah.
And then
had an aggressive confrontation.
Yeah, and the dude in the car turns and looks back at him, and he says something, being like, "Oh, I've got you now," and then he like takes out. Like a cop light and puts it on the top of his car, and then this intense car chase sequence breaks out because this dude on the motorcycle cut him off. Like he made him swerve slightly on the road, and so this cop like barrels through marketplaces.
He ruins livelihoods.
He ruins livelihoods. Like
all for this kid on a moped.
There's fruit flying everywhere, and it all ends in this like game of chicken, where Timon, the dude on the moped, is facing the cop in the car, and they start driving towards each other, and the cop turns off at the last second, and like skids over like a couple boxes, and then the car flips like several times, right?
We thought he was dead at this point.
Yeah, right. So then at this point, Timon continues driving and shows up where Genji is, and Genji's in the middle of beating up a bunch of dudes. Have no idea why.
Oh no, those dudes were at the start. They were the guys who came up to the school when they were all hanging out at the balcony, which I will add, had a graffiti on it that said P-sex.
No, but in English. There was
there
was just random English graffiti like thrown around in this film. They're like one of the
I've actually taken note of a few of them here.
Yeah. No, let's barrel them off.
We have P-sex. Fuck and go.
Fucking go.
Yeah.
That's the motto I live my life by.
We have magic gun.
Magic gun. Yeah.
Muscle.
Oh, I had one more. What was it? Gang and beer.
Yeah,
beer.
Yeah,
those were just written on a wall.
I've written beer on a wall before.
Yeah, so like there's
and fainal.
Fainal, yeah.
Fainal.
Yeah, that was written in English. It's not a word.
It's not. It could be if they changed one letter, but like,
yeah.
So I don't think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
So that's not what they were going for.
So a lot of this movie like took place around this school, right? That they were all like attending. So Timon was attending this school. He's the dude with the moped, and then there's Genji, the really good-looking stoic guy. Timon's friend, who's called Tokyo, who's the worst character ever written in anything ever.
He does nothing.
He does absolutely nothing except have a heart attack at some point. And then there's just a bunch of like rival gangs in this school.
Who all look fucking cool.
Yeah, and this film is basically 2 hours of them beating the shit out of each other.
And talking in rooms.
Yeah. And you know, obviously we didn't understand the talking. But the fighting was really cool.
Dude, the fighting was really good.
So cool.
It was awesome.
And some of the it was bizarre because some of the edits in this film kind of, particularly towards the start, I was like, oh, this is a well-made film. Like in the fight sequences and stuff, some of the edits were really clever, and they really like made all the hits really impactful and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point somewhere in the middle of the film where they start, like, there's a song playing in the background of a scene, and when the character goes to speak, they just completely mute it.
Oh yeah.
And then the character delivers their line,
really
and then they turn the song back up. There's no fade. There's no fade at all. It's literally just like bang, it's down, and then back up again. It's bizarre. I can't figure out if this was well made or not.
Yeah. It definitely was, but there's a lot of weird, and like I might chalk that up to it being like, because we might chalk it up to it being.
There's people in this house. Yeah, I don't know if you could hear.
I don't think it got picked up. You could chalk it up to it being a Japanese movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's like weird. Like the dude is talking, and there's music in the background that's really loud, and then as soon as he talks, the music gets really quiet.
Yeah, and it's so jarring. But anyway, that's not really important, right? What's important is Genji, right, who is attending this school or whatever, joins this gang, right? Or so he appears to. The leader of the gang is the European, right? We refer to him as the European because he, several times in the film, wears a tracksuit, like a top and bottoms, that is a map of Europe. And not like a detailed map of Europe, like it's a white tracksuit with a crudely drawn map of Europe in black marker.
Yeah.
And no one, like, obviously people refer to him by his name, but it wasn't a startling enough name for us to pick up on.
That's another interesting thing about watching a movie without subtitles, is we went into it, and I was thinking like, oh, we'll probably get names and stuff. We can definitely figure that out. No, it's so hard to like figure out whose name is what.
You had to wait until someone looked like they were going to die, and then suddenly they're like, Genji!
Genji!
Yeah.
We call him the European. We think his name might be Ken, but we're not sure.
It might be Ken, or I might be racistly thinking his name is Ken because he kind of looks like the guy from Community.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
But I'm certain at some point in the Indonesian subtitles I saw Ken when someone was talking to him.
Definitely did.
But that I don't know what Ken means in Indonesian. It could just be Ken. Just could be an Indonesian word that I don't know the meaning of.
Oh,
so
that's totally what it was.
Like all
that's
Indonesian
totally
words,
was.
yeah.
So we think his name might be Ken.
Yeah, but we're just gonna call him the European because it's easier.
Yeah.
And
who would have thought our little island would make a cameo in this movie?
Yeah, it was there, and then it got covered in blood when he got beat up by all those guys.
It was the only bit of it.
It was the only bit that was covered in blood. Yeah.
Fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Are they trying to tell us something?
I hope not. Yeah, no, that it was upsetting. I was like, oh, come on, why not England?
2008.
Yeah.
Around that time. I'm so sorry. I should have checked this.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. We'll be more.
I think it was
professional
2008. I could be wrong though. Yeah.
So he joins this gang. Then what? Like, there's like a couple people in this gang, and we haven't even talked about Beyonce yet.
Oh yeah.
Right.
The opening, the credits.
The opening credits is
fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's Japanese Billy Idol. And he's just playing a gig. He's just this, and like there's this rock band, and they're just going hard. And then for a while we were like, is this just a music video at the start? But then it turns out that Genji is at the gig. For a while we were like, did they just put this video in for no reason whatsoever, just to be like, hey, check out this cool band. This is how you know it's a cool movie. But then it like eventually pans to Genji, and he's sitting at the bar at this gig, and he starts chatting to this girl. Right, who
we were like, oh well, love interest.
Yeah, of course,
obviously.
Yeah, naturally. And then then she goes and gets on stage. He's clearly not interested. I don't know if he even says a word to her. She keeps talking to him. But then she gets on stage and she starts dancing with these two other girls and singing, and she's in the middle. So we were like, oh, they're the Japanese Destiny's Child, and she is Beyonce.
Yeah.
So that's what we will.
Because we never see the other two again.
No, we see Bonda.
When they were making that brothel?
Yeah, oh, man, I have no idea.
Were they opening a brothel? No, probably not.
No, evidently not. No, it doesn't look like they were.
Yeah, no.
But what was the... Okay, you see, this is the problem. I feel like we need some sense of structure, because I have so many unanswered questions about this.
Yes.
I just don't understand at all. Oh, by the way, Brian's girlfriend Ali, our wonderful Ali, my auntie Ali, we were she was watching the film with us. She just looked up the synopsis and read it to herself. So we were just sitting there being like, I have no idea what's going on, and she knew full fucking well.
She was like, oh no, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
and we were like, oh, well,
yeah.
Okay.
So right, so then there's Beyonce, right? So she's the love interest. What else happens? So basically, there's like a division between Genji. I feel like the main story is the division between Genji and his gang, which consists primarily of the European and a guy called Maxey, who is the gummiest motherfucker.
Oh, he's got big gums.
He's got big ass gums. It's disgusting. There's a scene where he's clearly trying to flirt with this girl.
and he shows her his gums.
He shows her his gums, like trying to smile, and his face is dripping with sweat.
Yeah, because he's shitting himself as
well.
And
at this point, we were like, are they trying to open a brothel? Because in the immediate scene beforehand,
tits and ankles.
What the fuck was that about?
Tits and
when
ankles.
he meets these group of girls, like obviously Genji was just trying to hook him up with somebody, and when they introduce Maxey, this member of their gang, to these three women, one of whom is Beyonce, and the other two are presumably the other members of Destiny's Child. When he introduces them, it shows you your Maxey's perspective, and he just keeps looking at he goes from like the tits on one of them to the tits on the other to the tits on the other, and then to the ankles of one.
Hey, come on! Look, you've hung out with girls before. You always do a quick tit and ankle check. Quick tit and ankle check.
Just the old up and down.
Up and down. Not up and down. Just the tit and ankle check.
Yeah, tit and ankle check.
Everyone does it.
Yeah.
No one likes to admit it.
Look, so anyway, Maxey is not successful, right?
No.
And the girl he was hitting on was Bonda, right? And that is important because later in the film, much later, a lot of shit happens beforehand.
We think she was Bonda.
We were pretty sure it was Bonda.
Yeah, Bonda.
Later in the film, she is kidnapped by this motorcycle gang, who it appears, what's his name? Timon, the dude with the moped. He seems to be a part of that motorcycle gang, and so does a couple other people, like the dude with the dreadlocks and stuff. And they kidnapped Bonda, and somehow Beyonce knew and called Genji and told him, and then they rescued Banda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's good. The gummy dude.
Max A. Yeah.
He's like getting all up and like close to her, and she's putting her bag down. She's like, nah. And then he smiles at her, and I don't know what he was trying to accomplish, because as soon as he smiled, we all screamed.
Yeah, he looked. His
mouth
reminded
gums
me
in block capital in my notes.
His mouth reminded me of Pennywise.
And this isn't us making fun of some poor man's gums. It was like a prosthetic.
Yeah,
The gums were important.
I hope it was. I hope it was.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
No one's teeth look like that.
Yeah. Anyway, look, the story of this film, I feel like we've done, I don't know, probably not that great a job explaining it. But
Absolutely
it doesn't really matter, because this film is clearly all about the fight scenes and the pretty boys.
The pretty boys fighting in the rain.
Yeah, oh man. Oh. So there's a lot of fight scenes in this film. Most of them seem completely unwarranted. Right?
Yeah.
Because there's just a bunch of fights that just kind of happen, and there was a bit of dialogue beforehand, and it was clear that there was tension, but it didn't seem they weren't, none of these characters were talking long enough for a fight to have begun in real life. They were just
and
they were
it was aggressive. They were just like, oh, we're gonna fight now.
It was clearly just a school of young pretty boys who loved beating the shit out of each other, and the action was like proper anime action, but just with real people.
Yeah, because it's based off a manga.
Yeah, but like the punches like sent people flying, and it looked convincing. Like it didn't even look like you were obviously sitting there being like, okay, no one falls like that when you get punched.
But it was really well done. I actually really enjoyed the fight scene, and I thought the music choice was actually really good.
The soundtrack was actually savage, to be honest.
Yeah. Very Japanese.
Very
rock,
Japanese, but it suited really well. Yeah, it clearly suited really well. There's one scene in particular where Genji is getting attacked by Timon, the dude with the moped. Yeah. He sets like, it must have been like 50 dudes on Genji. Do you remember that bit?
No, that wasn't...
Timon is just sitting there. Is that not Timon?
No, that was a different guy.
No, who was that? No,
that was the blonde, the
what was
guy
his
with
name?
the orange hair. I have it here in my notes.
Isaka, something like that.
Isaka,
yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So fuck that guy. In terms of story, in terms of explaining where he fits into the story, fuck that guy. I don't know. But and I'm not even going to try and go into it. I'm just going to say, I just want to describe this one scene where he, for some reason, obviously we don't know, sets like literally 50 guys on Genji.
A bunch of dudes.
And again, obviously he doesn't win. Like Genji doesn't win, but he takes a lot of them down.
That's like a staple.
Yeah.
In like anime and stuff, is that the main character will get beat up and just keep getting back up. But Genji is so pretty that I was just screaming for him the whole time. I love Genji. He is.
Yeah. He really has got that kind of intensity where you're like, oh, I want you to succeed.
Oh, he's great.
Want good things for you.
Like the actor who plays him is really good at that character.
I think it's really impressive that I found him as endearing as I did, considering I didn't know what he was saying or doing.
Watch the movie with no dialogue.
Yeah,
we
essentially.
can infer like inflection and stuff.
Yeah, and some alliances. Right. In terms of story, there's one guy we've got to refer to, and that's Serizawa. I always think there's a K in there.
You don't watch as much Japanese animes as me. Your Japanese name skills are weak.
Yeah, they really are comparatively. Brian was just spitballing loads of random Japanese information at me while we were watching this. I'd occasionally.
It's in a way, it's like a very like Japanese anime movie where boys fight.
Yeah, which
like,
is
I suppose it would be a shonen. Kind of a shonen style thing. You don't know what that is.
I don't.
Yeah,
I'm looking
at
you blank
of
for the people at home.
Anime and manga where it's like young boys fighting each other. Like
looking good doing it.
And it's aimed towards like, well, maybe actually this would probably be a seinen because it's aimed at like kind of older teenagers and stuff, because people fucking died and no one died.
No one
we
died.
thought someone died, but no one died.
Loads of people should have died.
Oh, that dude who got the baseball to the head?
That was just a throwaway gag, but right? So there's a bit where this is the bit where we thought that Genji was forming his own gang because people were like joining him and like
I think
like,
they were just having a sports
but
day.
It seems like it looks like they were just having a sports day. But there's this one bit where we're pretty sure it was Max A as well.
It was. Yeah,
it was Max
definitely
A.
was, yeah.
So I don't think it wasn't Genji who did it, but someone, they were like playing baseball. Someone like hit a baseball full
Backwards.
force into Maxey's head, like right into the forehead, and blood like sprayed, blood like it properly flew. We were like, that man is dead, and everyone just looked at each other like, ha ha, oh baseball, oh joshing with the lads, and then in the next scene he's fine, he's fine, not a bother on him. It was insane. Like there was just aspects of that where I was like, "This is so stupid," but I still enjoyed
anime,
it.
Though.
Like,
that's like that always happens.
Yeah.
And the dart, and the guy gets the dart to the brain, that dart was deep enough that it was in his brain.
And he like stumbles and he falls, and again everyone's like,
oh, you silly boy.
Yeah, and behind him, I don't know if you noticed this, but behind him, when he falls, there's a waitress standing who's like covering her face with a tray first, and then she moves her face, and she's laughing at him.
Oh my god!
Everyone's just like,
I didn't notice that. That's crazy.
You and your brain injury, your newly acquired brain injury, right?
He shows up later though, and he doesn't even have a wound.
No, there's nothing.
No mark.
Absolutely
it's
nothing.
Ridiculous.
Right. So I think there's a couple things I want to talk about. But so one that I want to talk about before we actually get to important things, and I want to stress that this is not an important thing. I want to talk about Tokyo.
Kind of.
We
can't really spoil the movie.
No.
We can spoil the movie.
We can. We can spoil. There's a twist in it that we can spoil.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh shit,
dude!
I don't think I picked up on it.
Yeah, you definitely did, and we will. Okay, spoilers from now on.
Okay, so spoiler warning for Crows Zeros. Go watch it. It's fucking great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It is really funny. So the twist was obviously that fucking the European did not die in the water.
Oh yeah, that was a twist.
Yeah, that was a twist. In the very opening scene of the film was Serizawa.
You did
fucking nailed it first time. Serizawa like cocks a gun and says something real intimidating, and then he shoots. Yeah,
he could have just said like, "I love to eat small cakes, my favorite," and then shot a guy.
Yeah, but then he shoots the European, right? And before he shoots the European goes, Genji! Right?
Genji.
And then he shoots him, and the European like falls into this. I presume what was it? The ocean, river? I don't know.
Yeah.
No,
river, maybe an ocean.
Water. He fell into
was
water.
On a dock.
It was definitely not a swimming pool.
Yeah, no, he was on a dock.
And then that's the opening scene of the film, right? And then the rest of it goes on. And then at the end...
Oh, and we get that little flash of, like, Genji scenes.
Yeah.
Where it ends with him flipping the camera
Yeah,
off.
Just, like, a big middle finger.
That's your main memory of Genji is him flipping you off.
Yeah. And then... So then, as the movie progresses, as far as we could deduce, which doesn't mean anything, we felt as though... Serizawa was trying to get the European to kill Genji, and remember, the European and Genji are in a gang together, because he gives the European a gun, and then there's a scene where the European is like talking to Genji, and the music implied that it was like, I was told to do this thing, but I'm not gonna, kind of thing.
Oh
to
yeah,
me,
with the
where they're like talking on the dock, and there's like all this industrial bullshit around them and whatever. It's like, actually no, I'll get to that in a second because we're in the middle of plot. But so then at the end of the movie, while this intense fight scene is happening, which we will get to, Serizawa brings the European. That was seamless. Serizawa brings the European to this place, and we just see the scene from the start of the film. But what we see that we didn't see at the start is that Serizawa, for some reason, gives the European his coat, and I was like, okay, that's a weird thing, but maybe it's like I've got some sense of remorse or whatever. And then he
give you my coat.
Yeah, before I shoot you in the head and drop you in a river or a bay.
I did think it was weird that he didn't shoot him in the head.
Yeah, I was suspicious of that, right? But then we see the bit where the European is like drowning or whatever, and he's thinking of fucking Genji, and so they show us that footage for the third time in the film of him seeing Genji and bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But then suddenly he starts swimming back up. He swims up and he like pulls himself out of the water, and he like takes off Serizawa's coat, and there's a bullet stuck in it. So this like
Yeah,
woolen
yeah.
coat was bulletproof.
Oh, it was super bulletproof.
Yeah, which is
But
fucking ridiculous.
Brings me to another point. We don't know when this is set.
Kind of seemed like it was set like now.
Nah, dude.
Well,
there was
no,
like,
it was a bit dystopian, wasn't it?
yeah, that school was fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't think that school had electricity.
I don't think that school had faculty.
Yeah,
And
there
the-
was no teachers in the whole movie.
No, the very start, like there's a teacher on stage. Actually, I had a fucking note about this. I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up.
There's
What
a
is the
teacher
note?
on the stage in like one of the opening scenes.
Yeah.
And he's like saying something, obviously we don't know, and there's a crowd of students, and then one of the students gets on stage and like kicks the teacher over,
Yeah.
and then picks up the mic and
Yeah.
just starts spouting bullshit.
I think that was Maxe, but I could.
It might have been Maxe, looking back on it.
Yeah.
And the bullshit he is spouting into the mic inspires a riot, right? But here's my deal. Here's why I wrote a note about it. Because that guy was talking for fucking ages. There was loads of time for, first of all, for the teacher he kicked to just get up, right? Because he was just squirming on the floor this entire time. But also for another member of faculty,
Did you not see how hard those school kids punch?
yeah,
and
they
kick,
they
though?
do
Like,
punch hard.
I'd be squirming on this floor for a while.
But
if that was
they
me.
show us other members of faculty all standing there cowering. And I
Yeah.
was like, one of you get this kid off the fucking mic. He's about to start a riot.
Yeah, but I think that was the point that the school.
That
is
the
a
school
bad
has
school.
no control over the student. And that is the last time we see any adult whatsoever.
Well, I mean, did you look at the school? There was no dress code.
there was
no dress
well,
code.
I don't know, it was kind of wear black, right?
I don't know if that was a dress code or if they just thought that was
It was
cool.
just, it was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
They
pretty
would have been
cool.
right.
Yeah, and there was a dude in it, this isn't important at all, but I just want to complain about it for a second. He
It's
had
very
fucking
important.
pigtails and sunglasses on in every scene. There was 3 dudes,
He looked
right?
like Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, he did. He looked like
he looked
Asian
like-
Snoop Dogg.
He like Snoop Dogg's like
Yeah.
when he had the. This was back a while ago now, but yeah. That's,
Yeah, but they were like plaits. They were like pigtail plaits.
Yeah, he had Snoop
on
Dogg
either
head.
side, yeah. And he was one of 3 dudes who were shown at the start of the movie as if they were going to be really important, and then every now and then we saw them looking on from a distance, didn't do fucking anything.
Now this is the part where there is sequels. So
Exactly,
maybe
so that's the
they're
thing.
more
I didn't
important.
know that until like right towards the end when suddenly you mentioned it, and I was like, okay. So
Yeah,
if-
because I forgot about it until I
so
was like, wait a minute, there's more of these.
if
Right?
if that was them setting up a sequel and they were just constantly putting these guys there to be like, ooh, they're coming, that's I really respect that,
yeah,
because that's commitment to recreating
that you
the
see in,
manga,
like,
you know.
anime and manga a lot as well. Is like there'll be someone off in the distance being like, these guys are good, but not as good as me. And then in like
Wait until my time.
wait
comes.
until the writers write me in.
Yeah. Okay, so before we talk about the big fight scene,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
Which is it's a big deal, and there's a lot to dissect there. I want to really briefly just say, because I touched on it earlier, I didn't get to really go into it. What the fuck was the point of Tokyo? Right, not Tokyo the place for people
We
who
know the
haven't
point of
seen
Tokyo
this.
the
We
place.
know
It's a pretty important city.
It's
It's
quite
big.
beautiful by the looks of things.
yeah.
I haven't been there, but the pictures I've seen. But
yeah.
so, fucking Timon, right? Timon, the dude with the moped who was in the opposing gang. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm suddenly like, of course he was in the other gang. He had the thing
I,
at the
like,
start
looked-
of the film.
I looked away for a second and then it's just, oh yeah, and I was like, oh Jesus, what?
Yeah. So okay, now I know for sure he was definitely in that gang, right? I was, Timon,
Timon, yeah.
because remember he had the bike.
He was like the leader.
So obviously he was in that gang.
Yeah.
Right. So he was in that. Okay, whatever. He in the school is constantly hanging out with this dude Tokyo, right? And at the start, after before he gets on the bike and crashes into the truck, Tokyo is trying to stop him.
Yeah.
And we obviously we don't know why. And then
No idea.
like a couple scenes later, he's obviously out of prison and he's playing checkers with Tokyo. And
Yeah.
then Genji, they're on the roof. Genji just walks up. I think I just bashed the microphone with my chin, so
Oh,
sorry
that's
if I did
okay.
that. He walks up and kicks the checkerboard over for no reason.
Because he's
And
fucking
then,
Genji.
and then
doesn't
he
give a
walks
shit.
away. And then he just walks away. And so Tokyo stops Timon and Genji from fighting on the roof because Genji's real pissed off because he was clearly doing well in that game of checkers, right?
Yeah.
So that's all Tokyo really does, is he demonstrates that he is an incredibly weak, feeble guy in this world of super tough, super strong,
Genji's
mega
so tough
hitting.
and cool.
Yeah, everyone's so tough and cool
I wish
except
he'd kick
Tokyo.
over my checkers game.
Tokyo,
I don't think it was checkers. Either. I think it was like I don't know what it was.
It was some
Japanese.
It was a Japanese game, but it looked like checkers
yeah.
to me. But so Tokyo is clearly like this. I think he's supposed to be like a pacifist character, and he's supposed to be admirable for that. But he doesn't do anything, and then he has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then a big portion of the film
seems to be nowhere.
And a big portion of the film then, or a little portion, but enough of it to annoy me, is dedicated to like watching his surgery.
Yeah.
And they made him walk in. They made him walk
they didn't
into
even
his
wheel
own
him into
surgery.
his, not
they
even
wheeled him up to the door, and then they were like, "All right, on you go."
Even the hospital staff didn't
Yeah,
like Tokyo.
he
they were
like
like, "No, fuck you. You're walking down there yourself."
So he stood up in front of the doors into the operating room, and he took off his shirt, and he just strolled in. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're all just kind of like, "What? Hi, just on the table,
they're
please."
literally just standing there with their hands up, just being like, "Yeah, right, you ready? You know, here we go. Get on the fucking table." And so that they keep flicking back to that surgery, which is annoying because the scene they keep flicking away from.
I think it was a brain thing though.
Okay, maybe
because
it might
at the
have
end
been.
we saw him in a.
Oh, a big head thing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and a big head
I just
bandage.
realized that now.
That's a good point. I didn't.
That's how much
consider that.
I'm able to pay attention to movies. Like, hours later, I'm like, oh, but wait, hold on, whoa.
But so the reason that it annoyed me so much that they kept showing this operation is the scene that they kept flicking away from was the massive fight sequence that was clearly like the.
And they kept the rock music when they cut to the surgeons.
yeah. There was like hardcore rock music playing in the background of this awesome fight sequence between Genji's gang and Timon's biker gang, and there's got to be like 100 dudes kicking the living shit out of each other in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
And it's full frontal. Like, people are getting fucking flipped and thrown around. Like, it is intense as fuck. And then they just keep going back to Tokyo. They just keep flicking back, being like, "Yeah, here he is on the table." Oh, I don't care. I do not care about Tokyo. I never cared about Tokyo.
Tokyo sucks.
He does.
I mean, the guy, not the place.
Yeah.
I'm sure the place is lovely.
Yeah.
It was spelt with an I, so it's different. I realize we're probably doing a absolutely fucking awful job of like actually going through this, but this is like 2 hours of like just
nonsense.
Well,
like it was obviously.
It probably makes so much sense when you watch it with subtitles.
Yeah,
it's probably why this is a terrible
or
idea.
Or in Japanese, like if you speak
if
Japanese.
you speak Japanese, which none of us do.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I do kind of feel like.
I feel like we've complained a lot.
I feel but obviously we're going to, because it's
easier to critique than it is
to praise, you know. But that being said, I did really enjoy it.
Oh, I loved it, dude. I love Japanese boys beating each other up.
The only thing I will say is I feel like the reason I enjoyed it is because I was watching it with you and Ali, and I had people to like joke with and stuff.
If I was watching it by myself, I'd be like, I'm so bored.
Yeah, I definitely would not have made it through, which is a shame because there might come a time in the future where I will have to watch one of these on my own.
Yes.
Due to like scheduling conflicts.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll pick a good one for that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really stupid, but it was fun. At the end of the day, I really did enjoy it. I wish I didn't as much as I had, because I would like to just be able to shit on it.
Just yeah. But it's easier. Yeah, I know it's easy to go shit on stuff.
Like the fight sequences were incredible, and some of the humor translated. You know, like
yeah.
Like the bowling joke. You described the bowling joke.
Oh my god, we didn't even talk about the bowling joke. Okay, so I'm gonna. This was my favorite part of the movie, easily.
Yeah, you take the lead on this.
So all right, so we get to the roof of the school, where there is like a group of freshmen. I assume freshmen, like tied up with cardboard like fronts with numbers on. This is Dara is in the horrors.
I'm picturing them.
Yeah, they're all tied up, and they're like, and we're kind of watching like, oh, what's this gonna be? Are they gonna start shooting at them or something?
I thought that they were like shields, and that they were gonna charge at.
That too. I thought they were like riot shields as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what they were. So, Timon is standing right next to this massive ball, and I say massive. This is like Dara. When we were watching the movie, Dara described it as like an underwater mine.
Yeah, and it had the spikes coming out of it like an underwater mine. It looked like one.
I would say this is as tall as a car.
Oh yeah, like, maybe a little taller. It looked like it was taller than them.
He could have. He crouches behind it and doesn't even crouch that much. He just kind of gets down a little bit and he's covered. Yeah. So, there's a plank underneath this big ball, and a guy jumps on the plank and hits the ball into the air and Timon kicks it, and it flies forward at max speeds, just barrels through.
It's important to note, it was very clear that this big ball was made of steel.
Yeah. This was like a super big, heavy steel ball.
Yeah.
And it hits the freshman dead in the center, and they fly into the air like fucking bowling pins. And we lost it.
And it was the worst special effects I've ever seen.
Oh, they just cut and paste those dudes and like
just
move them.
Fly, bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah.
And
it was amazing.
And it's funny because the fight choreography was so good. Like when they punched people and they would fly through the air, it didn't even look like they were on wires. It was
it was very well done.
Even though you're watching it, like, okay, obviously that's not how people react when you hit them. It looked real.
A quick aside to that, to the fight things. There was one really, really nice edit that I really liked, and it's where Genji punches. Or does he punch or kick? He hits.
I think he punches. Yeah,
he punches a dude,
him, yeah.
And the dude like does the usual. If you've ever watched anime, you've probably seen it, where the guy like hits the ground and flips over a bunch of times. But they cut out all the flipping, and it cuts him hitting the ground. It's like boom, and then cuts again. He's hitting the ground again,
and it's just him hitting the ground, getting closer and closer to the camera. So it's just like bang, 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 and we miss the bit where he's flipping. We just see him hitting the ground,
and it's really well done. It actually looks super cool.
It really works, and they have like a beat going with it. It was
I really like that.
That's the kind of thing where I was like, oh, this was a pretty well made film.
And
then there's the bowling thing.
The bowling thing. But I mean, you're an action director and whatever, and you're like, or you're someone who does action special effects and stuff, and it's like, okay, a fight scene, I can do that, and it's like, all right, so in this scene, the guy kicks a big bowling ball into a bunch of people that they fly into the air. Like, you're gonna be like, how the fuck do I do that?
I would like to know what the budget was on this.
Yeah, this is all stuff we should have looked up.
I bet it wasn't that much. We'll know for next time. We'll discuss it briefly at the start of the next
Takeshi
episode.
Miike is pretty well known and pretty. Yeah. He did one of the biggest like horror movies in like lists of like most disturbing horror movies. His comes up near number one. The Audition is the movie.
Oh yeah, I've got a question. I feel like you might know this better than I, because you know a bit of Japan stuff or whatever, right? So you know, there's like people like there was one or two of them in this film. Those people who wear like the surgical masks outdoors.
Yeah,
that's like a health thing, is it, or something, or pollution?
It's a health thing and a pollution thing.
Yeah.
If you have a cold in Japan, you wear a mask.
Right. Yeah.
And this is just I know someone who lives in Japan.
Yeah. So they're like, people wear masks, and that's like common enough. I see people in Ireland.
Also
I see like Asian people wearing them in.
Yeah,
Ireland.
I'm not confident enough to like answer it and be like, oh yes, that's what it is. But I think that's what it is.
My question is, right, if it is a health thing, if it's like, ooh, the air's polluted and I don't want to breathe it in, why was every single one of those people wearing a mask in this film smoking a cigarette?
Because they were just wearing the mask to look cool.
Yeah, and they were smoking the cigarette to look cool, just like everyone else in this film.
Everything every character does in this movie is to look cool.
Yeah. Japanese people smoke a lot, man. They smoke a lot. Like, I used to smoke a lot, and they smoke a lot. You know.
So that's because like when you think of like what makes a character look really cool and like he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
smoking a goddamn cigarette, because if you're smoking a cigarette, you're probably gonna die at some point.
Yeah, what was it we said? The only time Genji ever takes his hands out of his pockets
is to punch someone or smoke a cigarette.
Punch someone or smoke a cigarette. Yeah,
that's it. That's all he always has. If you've ever if anyone here has ever like watched,
excuse me,
has watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, he is Jotaro. And you probably know who that is, like, because everyone knows who that is, except for Dara, because he's a big loser who doesn't watch loser shows.
Nope. No idea.
Dara knows Batman.
I know quite a bit about Batman.
And that's it.
Yeah. I know a good
What's
bit
the
about
last video game you played?
Batman.
Dara doesn't even play fucking video games.
No, the only three.
I do all of that stuff.
I've played 4 video games to completion in my entire life.
Wow.
Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, Batman Arkham Origins, which sucked, by the way.
Yeah.
And Batman Arkham Knight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. I've beaten so many fucking video games. It's probably quite sad. But that's kind of like, that's my job. Yeah, that movie... The fight scene.
Yes.
We need to get into the fight scene.
Yeah.
I lost myself there.
That's okay. So the fight scene opens with, like, it starts pouring rain, like thundering rain, right? And they're like, Genji's gang are walking, and they're like walking with intent, with, you know, determination.
Yes, in the rain, with their
all
black
black umbrellas, right?
Like they're going
walking
to a funeral.
And Genji's right in the center, right? He's walking along, and then suddenly he goes, fuck it, and throws the umbrella away, and everyone follows and throws the umbrella away, and I don't know why, but it got me so hype.
Oh, because it was so fucking cool.
It was so cool.
Oh, it was so cool when they all throw down the umbrellas, and you're like, oh, they don't even care.
Yeah,
They're gonna fight
shit,
in the
it's
rain.
about to get fucking real.
And then Tamoa comes out, or Timon, as we've been calling him.
Yeah. For the record, we also call he one of his like background gang members, Timon's, has dreadlocks. We would occasionally refer to him as Pumba, but he doesn't matter enough to keep talking about.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
No.
He just stands around.
Yeah.
We just liked him a lot.
Yeah,
He was great.
His dreads were cool. Anyway, go on.
Yeah,
go on.
yeah. What was I?
You were saying that you were saying in the fight something about
yeah,
Timon.
oh yeah, he has the white umbrella. Everyone else has black umbrellas. He has a white umbrella.
And what was really cool was like the two gangs meet and they all charge into battle, and it's like everyone's screaming and they start kicking the shit out of each other in the rain and the mud. And then Timon is still standing there with his white umbrella, and he like puts it down at his side. He like closes the umbrella. He places it on the ground. And then he screams and he charges in with the rest of them and just starts kicking dudes left, right, and center.
Yeah.
And that was dope.
Yeah. There was a lot of bits in this movie where you're like, that's fucking dope.
Yeah, which is good because, you know, obviously we needed like strong visual
Yeah,
stimulus.
we're probably going to stick to a lot of action movies if we're doing this because I'm not going to watch people talk in different languages in rooms for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That would be...
That would be the fucking worst.
Yeah.
It would be so unbearable. Especially, like, just compared... Because even the intermittent scenes between all of the multiple fight scenes, I was like, okay, I'm trying to piece this together, and that's okay, but I would like it if they started punching each other again.
Yeah. There were a lot of times in this movie where you would get to a fight after it had happened.
Yeah.
And every time that happened, it was like a collective, fuck.
You know, come on.
These people aren't punching each other. They're already done punching each other.
Yeah. But yeah, what else about the fight scene? Oh, there's one bit where this dude, I don't know if he punches a dude or kicks a dude, but I cannot describe how much rain there is. It's an unnatural amount of rain.
Oh yeah, it's pouring.
Yeah, and he punches this dude, and this dude skids across the floor.
Oh yeah,
15 feet. And as he skids, he trips up like 3 other guys.
Yeah.
And they all just like flip to the floor.
Putting the bowling training to good use.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot like that, right? And then the fight basically concludes with just as you would expect, Genji and Timon left standing. It'd be really weird if it was like Genji and that dude wearing the surgeon's mask. Just finally we were at our battle. No, it was obviously Timon. And they engage in this awesome fight scene. Like it's really intense, and even though we didn't really understand their relationship and why they disliked each other so much, you could really feel it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, you can feel that these guys need to fight.
Yeah, and they were really expressive about it. Like they were.
Oh, the physical acting in the movie was fucking great. It was fantastic. There was one scene in particular where Genji gets mad and he stands there for like 30 seconds and just contorts his face and then screams and kicks something, and it's just. The actor does it really, really well. I don't know his name because he didn't look anything up because we're assholes.
But we were also kind of scared to look things up in case we accidentally revealed an element of the plot. So we had to give ourselves a little props. And then the guy who played the European, his physical acting was great in a different sense.
Yeah, he was funny.
He was really funny. He was clearly he was in Genji's gang, or Genji was in his gang or something. But anyway,
I think Genji was in his gang and he was in Serizawa's gang.
Yeah. And he was clearly more of an ideas man, I think. And because he was not very big, he wasn't very strong, he wasn't tall like the rest of them.
That one time.
He did help him out that one time, but even in that scene, he gets the shit kicked out of him.
Oh yeah,
you know, it's not like Genji where Genji just beats the living shit out of everyone who comes across him. But
Genji's the best.
Genji's the best. So, but this guy, the European, like he'll occasionally like get mad. And obviously we don't understand why, but he will like punch a pole or something.
Yeah. And
it will have no impact. And he will immediately start like shaking his hand.
Yeah. Whereas if someone else in the show, he's kind of like a real person.
He's like a real person,
strength-wise.
But then in other times he's like over emotive, like a character in an anime.
Well, there was a lot of physical acting in this that really reminded me of how like characters move, or not move, but how posing and stuff works in anime
and like facial expressions and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
especially from him. I feel.
And now neither of us have watched very many Japanese live action movies. I don't think I've only watched like one or two.
This might be my first.
might be your
like
first.
to be honest.
Except
Except for the Blade of Kinya Rock. If Finn has listened this far, only he'll get that. Go on.
Finn is a psychopath.
We said that during the test of this.
That's
these
what the sound
mics.
test was all about.
Yeah, we were just talking about.
We're not
going to
say anymore because if he's listening to this, he's going to be like, "What the fuck?"
And if he doesn't bring this up to us, we're going to be like, "That fucking asshole didn't listen."
Yeah, he didn't listen to the whole podcast. Anyway, just to like kind of, I know I'm getting off topic. We're jumping around everywhere here, but like the movie it jumps around a lot too.
It's chaotic. You know?
And it's actually, I thought like, oh yeah, you would just sit down and critique a movie like that. You would watch it. It's so hard to like, when you don't have dialogue or anything like that. It's so hard to keep the pieces in a linear order in your head.
Yeah.
They just kind of float around. So I'm going to. You're probably wondering why we haven't brought up Beyonce since way back when we said like, oh, Destiny's Child, a Japanese Destiny Child was there, and that's because she does fucking nothing except get almost raped and kidnapped.
Yeah, swear to God. And like
she is the quintessential girl.
Yeah, but there's this implication, or there seemed to be some implication that there was some kind of romance going on between her and Genji, and there was this bit where after she nearly gets raped, that's when because she nearly gets raped immediately after. I know I keep saying that word, and it's a little jarring for people, but this is what happened in the film.
This is what happened in the film, yeah.
And that happens immediately after Genji fought like the 50 dudes.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so he's all beat up, so he can't fight off these rapists.
That's when
the European steps in, and he's like, "I'll take care of this."
Yeah.
And we don't see the fight between the European and these like 5 or 10 dudes.
He's not European, but he's Japanese.
Yeah, he is Japanese. Yeah. But we don't see the fight between them. It just cuts to him having the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, he's fucked up.
He is fucked up.
And then the cop shows up.
The cop who flipped in the car earlier on shows up and gives the European back his jacket that has the map of Europe on it.
Yeah.
And then they chat for a bit, and we were like, "Ooh, he's threatening him." Yeah. But apparently not, because the cop does not come back into it at all.
Again. He's just gone.
That's it. So he must have just been like, "Oh, sorry to see that you've been beaten up there, man. Here's your jacket." Yeah, it really seemed like it was. But then, like after that scene, Genji and Beyonce are like in this tunnel that I compared to the tunnel that the climactic scene of Grease takes place in. It's like that tunnel that they drive in, and they're standing there, and they like chat. And I got the sense that she had inspired him to do something or something like that. But I couldn't buy their relationship. That would be one of my only real complaints about this film, is that I felt like I was supposed to believe that they were like romantically involved. But like you said, like it does have sequels, and they were clearly setting things up for future. So maybe they were just planting the seed that, oh, this is a woman in his life, and then later in other films it might become more of a thing. But in this film,
she does nothing.
Yeah, she does absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
She sings. She
sings during the last fight, and I actually quite liked it.
She was singing in like in the pub from the first scene. It cuts between her singing.
She doesn't have Destiny's Child with her.
No, it's just her, and it's more of a ballad. And she's singing, and that song it keeps cutting between her singing that song and the fight, and the song she's singing is just narrating this massive brawl. And it's awesome. In the rain, and it's really cool. It works really well.
I loved it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have anything else really to say about this? I feel like I've said a lot of what I need to say.
Yeah, we were just kind of rolling through the events of the movie, and probably quite poorly, but I think maybe so. They have the big fight and all that. The ending. So let's just talk about the ending a bit here.
Okay. Yeah.
Because this was the part where we were both like, "Oh shit."
Yeah. This was intriguing. I was intrigued.
Genuinely,
So earlier in the film, there was this seemingly random scene, where this dude in a hood was talking to Genji. Was he talking to Genji? I think he was Genji.
Yeah, he was talking to Genji.
And it was.
And he probably said some really important shit that we just didn't pick up
But
on.
it was a really brief encounter, so we weren't getting anything via like body
Well,
language.
I thought he was going to come back like in the last third of the movie.
I thought he would come back and help in the last fight, maybe.
Yeah.
But
like
he
that
didn't.
kind of
He
thing.
didn't appear.
No,
And
didn't
then
appear.
suddenly at the very end of the movie, Genji's standing there smoking a cigarette as he does, you know, being a rebel without a cause.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
and
you used that a lot.
I did, yeah,
Sure,
because it's
when
the
we were
perfect
watching the
way to
movie.
describe him.
Yeah. Oh, dude, for sure.
Yeah, and he like turns right, and he sees Timon, who he recently kicked the living shit out of in that massive brawl.
Yeah.
And he sees Tokyo, who is the worst character in the world.
But
and
he's better now.
But he's better because he's got the bandage thing over his head, and Genji gives him a little, oh, you didn't fucking die smile.
They smile
right?
at each other.
And they
It's dope.
smile at each other, and so it's kind of implied that that's all settled.
They've gained respect through this fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that Tokyo was not a part of. He's gained respect for Tokyo for no reason, because Tokyo doesn't deserve respect.
Tokyo's a little bitch.
Right?
He gets everything handed to
Yeah,
him.
but then this dude in the hood shows up,
Yes.
and
So the dude in the hood shows up and he says some stuff, and Genji says some stuff, and then the dude in the hood takes his hood off, and he has red hair.
oh, it's so jarring.
Yeah, it's
Doesn't
like it
look
looks like a
good.
wig because he is a Japanese man, and
And
Japanese men don't really have red hair.
It's a bad haircut. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't. He looked way more intimidating with the hood on.
And as we were watching this, Dara's like, I want them. No, he like Genji goes to fight him, and he is ridiculously strong. And
Yeah.
he just stomps Genji and knocks him to the
And
ground.
this is when we're sitting there and we're like, oh my god, we've seen Genji beat so many people
So
up,
many
and this
dudes,
dude is
yeah.
just walloping him like nothing Genji is
Oh,
doing.
and this
is
dude's
working.
like 2 meters tall.
Yeah, he's so
fucking
huge.
big.
He's so big. And they don't show much of a fight. They just show him knocking Genji around a bit. And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then
So Dara, while we're watching this, Dara's like, "Oh, dude, they have to." As Genji's about to go in for the second round, cut the movie there.
yeah.
And that's exactly what
That's
they
exactly how it happened.
And we
Genji
both
stands.
cheered.
Genji like gets back to his feet, and he's got a smirk on his face that's like, "Ooh, I've got a new challenge."
Yeah.
And then he
yeah.
runs and he leaps in the air with his fist drawn out, and then cut to black.
Cut, no. Not cut to
Oh,
black.
yeah.
Cut to Japanese Billy Idol playing a song that sounds startlingly like Stand Proud from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There's a lot of Jotaro in this. There's a lot of Yakuza. If anyone knows the Yakuza series, like holy shit.
Oh yeah, you kept saying.
I kept saying that because like in my notes there are 2 notes that are the 2 notes are this is Yakuza, and then directly underneath it in block capitals and underlined, this is Yakuza, because Genji is literally Kazuma Kiryu from Yakuza.
And at one point, didn't Max say wear the white and red suit?
Oh yeah. Max wore literally Kiryu's costume from Yakuza 1 and onwards.
So obviously that's not something I picked up on, but
You don't even know what Yakuza you had.
no, but I was really
I'll show it to
excited
you
for
after
Brian.
this.
I know what the Yakuza is like in real life.
Yeah, it's based on. It's not really based on the
Yeah.
Yakuza.
No.
So yeah, that was Crow's Zeroes.
Yeah,
We did an
there's-
awful job of trying to explain it.
But there's an important question here.
Oh yeah.
So basically, the question we're going to ask at the end of this, each episode of this is, would you go back and watch this film again with subtitles?
Absolutely, and I think I'm going to read the manga too.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
wow, you're very invested.
I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was fantastic.
Okay, excellent. Now, I'm a little torn, right? I feel
Ooh,
like
okay.
I would start it. I would
Ah,
start
would
watching
you
it
be kinda
again.
like,
I would start watching the film again with subtitles, and after a certain point, if I'm like, we see, I don't know, the dialogue could be awful, and there are like the scenes where they're talking are long enough that if the dialogue is awful, I
Yeah.
will get really fed up really quickly.
Mm.
You know, so I feel like I might skim it a little. You know, I'd skip a couple scenes and then be like, oh, this one looks important, I'll watch this. And then just always go to the fight scenes. I would happily watch all of these fight scenes again. I thought they were incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it with a bit of context too, though.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
that's
that would
true.
be
I would
really
like
cool
to
to
know the
see.
context. We will know the context as soon as we finish because Ali fucking knows it.
Yeah, she's gonna tell
Yeah,
us.
she's just going to tell us. And so next...
And even if she doesn't, I'm probably gonna look it up at some point.
yeah, so next time we do this, we're going to be like, so, by the way, everyone, here's
Yeah,
what this was really about.
Yeah. Or we'll just rattle off maybe a couple of things that we got wrong.
Yeah, and which will probably be everything.
Yeah.
So, okay, that about wraps up the film, right?
Yeah, that about wraps up the film.
Okay, so before we finish up, I've got one more surprise segment that I want to just spring on you.
Wow,
right?
you put some work in.
Oh yeah. I put some work in by thinking of some stuff while I walked from the bus stop that I get off at to college. A couple of days last week.
Okay.
So the segment is my girlfriend Amanda came up with the fantastic title "Bullshit for Brian."
Oh shit!
And
I love this.
This is a segment where I just tell you about some bullshit that I've been thinking about.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I love this.
My intention was I was going to talk to you about the third season of Rick and Morty because I know that you kind of fell off it and I wanted to hear where you were coming from.
Can I just stop you really quick?
Right.
And we'll just do a quick edit here.
Okay.
And okay, we're recording again.
Yep.
That's good. Sorry about that.
Brian went to pee.
And get a beer.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I heard Rick and Morty season 3 and I was like, oh shit.
No, don't worry. I am not going to talk to you about Rick and Morty season 3.
Oh, okay.
Right, I thought about it.
Well, then the pee and the beer was for nothing, Dara.
Because I kind of thought, we've been talking and I know that you fell off the bandwagon in season 3 and I wanted to kind of check in and see if you finished it. I will ask you that. Did you watch the end?
No, I have not finished season 3 yet.
Okay,
I
right.
got to, I think the last episode I watched was the Citadel one.
Okay, that one was really
which
good.
I loved.
That was a
really good.
great episode.
And that kind of got me a little bit back into it. But then lately, the Rick and Morty fan base has been awful. Just
yeah,
the
real
worst.
bad people. Then, but see, then I kind of thought
really kind of ruin it for everyone else.
Yeah, right. Especially the whole Szechuan thing. Did you see that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was following that. That's. Oh.
Did you see the dude jump on the counter? At
I have seen that video so many fucking times. I hate it.
It hurts. It hurts my soul.
It's your teeth. You're grinding your teeth, and it's like
That's why I've got the chip in my front tooth, just grinding it. Rick and Morty fans.
From Rick and Morty fans.
But so I thought, okay, well, like, even though Rick and Morty, like, it did end like a couple weeks ago, I feel like a lot of people are going to be talking about the wrap up of Rick and Morty. So I kind of wanted to be a little bit more original. So I decided to be original by being completely dated and discussing an animated film that came out about a year ago.
Okay.
Just real quickly, I just want to get your opinion on it, essentially, right?
Okay.
Because it caused a lot of controversy, and essentially, I'm talking about The Killing Joke. Have you seen it?
I have not seen The Killing Joke because I heard it was fucking awful,
Yeah.
and I love that comic.
Yeah.
So I haven't. But if you want to say anything about it here, I don't care.
Well, you
about
see, that's the
spoilers or
thing, right?
anything.
Is I know that you do have, like, even though you're not as into it as me, obviously, because not many people are, but you do
I have
like
this
Batman.
weird thing where I really like superhero fiction, but I kind of hate Marvel and DC and don't care about either of them that much. I like Batman though, it's because I liked Batman since I was a kid.
You see, I feel like you have a more fundamental understanding of Batman than a lot of people I know, because something very important about the Joker.
I consume so much stupid media all the time.
You understand something about the Joker that not many people do. I find.
Yeah.
Which is that obviously his goal
is not to kill the Batman.
Yeah.
It's to make the Batman kill him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and the fact that you understand that is kind of the reason I want to talk to you about this, because you seem to understand the world.
I bet Finn doesn't know anything about the Joker, that fucking asshole.
Fucking psychopath, Finn. God damn it.
Sorry if you don't know who Finn is.
if you're most people.
This is really funny to us, though.
Yeah, we're finding it hilarious. So basically, right, the film came out, and do you know what happened in it that caused all the controversy?
Batman and Batwoman.
Batgirl. It wouldn't be that bad if it was Batwoman. Well, it would be actually, because she's lesbian. But yeah, he fucked Batgirl, right?
That's the worst.
Isn't it bad?
That's so bad.
Isn't it so bad?
Oh, that just makes me like, because in my head, Batgirl and Batman, it's always been like a father-daughter relationship, and that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's really disgusting. And the scene is like, it doesn't go on too long, but it's a bit graphic. Like, he grabs her ass and stuff, and then she takes off her top, and she's there in like her bra, and you're like, this is a cartoon.
I didn't know they actually had a sex scene.
Yeah.
I thought they just, like, it was like, they're going out.
Well, as soon as they, like, took off... No, they don't go out. They just fuck on a rooftop. Yeah, they just fuck on a rooftop, right? So, obviously, that's the reason it's causing controversy. But another reason...
And rightly so, because that's fucking stupid.
Yeah. But another reason it's causing controversy, or it caused controversy, because, as I said, this is quite a dated subject, is because it features a scene... Well, like, it features the scene from The Killing Joke. the important scene with Barbara Gordon.
Oh yeah.
Which was controversial at the time and always has been.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe rightly so. It's a very dark scene.
It's very visceral, and that's
visceral is perfect way to describe
and that's why I want to discuss this, is because I understand why it is controversial.
Yeah.
Because it could be seen as a perfect example of, this writer is clearly just using this female character as a means to an end and not as a character in her own right. She's clearly just there to drive the plot forward, and that's a complaint that a lot of people have. However, I am of the firm belief that that's not really the case, because if you read The Killing Joke on its own, yes, Barbara Gordon is just used as a plot device. But by the time I read The Killing Joke, and by the time comic book fans will have read The Killing Joke, we've already seen loads of Batgirl. So we're not sitting there going, oh no, they killed that girl. He shot that girl. Oh, he didn't kill her. But, we're going, holy shit, you shot Batgirl. Why did you shoot Batgirl?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's Batgirl. Don't shoot Batgirl. Like, it does have a bit of substance to it when you
also,
know
I
the
think
backstory.
Like, that's how the Oracle comes around, isn't it?
Yeah, and
the
cool
Oracle's
character.
great. I love the Oracle.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
And it's really badass to have a character that is like really badass and in a wheelchair.
She's one of my favorite parts of the Arkham series as well. Is her talking in your ear all the time.
Yeah.
I really like her in that.
And then she becomes a really big part of Arkham Knight as well.
Yeah,
she becomes like a plot element,
Oh yeah.
And that's really interesting.
Was she in Arkham?
No, she wasn't in Asylum. You're just talking to Alfred, I think. Or maybe she was a little bit, but she was definitely in City.
It's been a long time since
she was definitely in Arkham City.
I gotta replay those.
Yeah, they're great. They're really good.
Games, yeah.
But yeah, basically, I just kind of wanted to get your kind of take on the controversy surrounding it. Obviously, I know you haven't seen it, but you do kind of understand the world a bit. So
yeah, I don't think it's necessarily you're talking about the scene
where he fucks Batgirl, which is fucked up.
Oh, that's stupid.
But also like the whole thing, the whole thing. I feel like it's a valid complaint to be like, this is weird if you're speaking in relation to Batman having sex with Batgirl, because that is weird.
That is really weird. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I know, yeah.
That's creepy, and it doesn't feel like they put it in for any reason other than they needed a sex scene.
Well, you see, that's the thing. Is like, when I saw it first, like I saw it with Amanda and I saw it with Harry in the Lighthouse Cinema in Dublin.
That's great.
Yes, so my brother, who was like 11 at the time, maybe.
Yeah.
And we okay, so like The Killing Joke's pretty short, you know, so it's not a movie long graphic novel. So they added like a 45-minute story about Batgirl, right? Which a lot of people had a problem with. I didn't so much, right?
Yeah.
What I kind of thought, and what I kind of felt about the whole sex scene as well, I didn't like it, but I said to myself, all right, well, they were trying to wash over the controversy and of her just being a plot device by showing that she's a character in her own right before this happens to her, before she gets shot by the Joker. And I didn't agree with her having sex with Batman, but I was like, okay, at least I understand why they're going this route, right? But recently, Bruce Timm made another animated film, and Bruce Timm, bear in mind, is the man who made Batman the Animated Series, which is like still to this day I would consider one of the greatest cartoons of all time.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. He made another film called Batman and Harley Quinn, in which Harley Quinn like fucks Nightwing. So he's clearly just gotten perverted.
He's just like, you know what, I wrote all these characters, now it's time for the fan fiction.
Yeah, the fan fiction he has clearly always wanted. Yeah. And it's like,
and the worst part is he can do it officially.
Yeah. He can force a team of poor animators to sit and painstakingly draw these scenes. There's a shot, I haven't seen Batman and Harley Quinn because I was like, that sounds disgusting. But my brother showed me the scene, and it's a shot where like Nightwing's tied to the bed because she's like kidnapped him. Right? And then she just like gets changed, and there's a shot of this cartoon woman bending over and just her ass in underwear.
I've seen that shot.
Yeah.
That's a weird shot because her like it's drawn weirdly so that her butt cheeks aren't where they should be or something weird. I remember someone showing it to me and I was like, that's not drawn right.
Yeah, that doesn't look
I'm
like
not a talented drawer,
a human bottom.
It's not the anatomy is all off and it just feels like a gross like let's just show this character's butt off because that gets people to like movies.
And then she climbs up on top of him and fucks him, basically.
Ah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to complain for a little while, and I wanted to kind of get your opinion on it a bit as well.
That's fucked up. That's stupid. If like you can make characters, any character you want, have a romantic relationship with another character as long as it fits.
Mm.
But Batman and Batgirl doesn't fit because it doesn't fit Batman's character.
Yeah, exactly.
Batman doesn't care about pussy. He cares about stopping crime, and that's literally, there are so many like pieces of Batman like storylines and stuff where Alfred is like, yo dude, you need to chill out on the fighting crime stuff because you're gonna die, and he's like, nah, I just want to fight crime
all the time.
Like, you think he's gonna stop and be like, man, just want to get my dick wet, fuck crime.
In the actual continuity, like, they don't really reference him actually being with a lot of women, just Selena and Talia
and whatever women he has as Bruce Wayne to, like, you know, when he's going to functions and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's never even that much of an implication that he actually fucks them. You know?
He probably doesn't.
He probably doesn't. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I just wanted to give out about it. I'm glad that I've gotten your opinion on it. Another thing that really freaks me out about it is, while I'm on the subject,
I like this half movie podcast, half just bullshitting podcast.
Yeah.
Because I love bullshitting. I'll do it for hours.
That when you came to me with the idea for a podcast, I was like, man, it could be about anything. I just love talking some shit.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I love it. Maybe we'll continue this trend of half movie, half bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Just whatever we're talking about. Maybe next time you bring a topic that you want to talk to me about, and it'll not
what
be
were you
bullshit
saying before I interrupted there to
compliment ourselves,
to toot our own horns?
Yeah. I was saying it's weird because I grew up on Batman the animated series, and these like weird cartoons, like the weird scene with Batman and Batgirl, and the weird scene with Harley Quinn, are drawn in that style, and it's like watching my childhood die.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, it's like accidentally clicking onto the porn that's drawn in that style, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. It's, you know, when you're like I don't know how to torrent. I'm real shit at technology.
Yeah,
so like when I'm on like Kiss Cartoon or whatever, and like the little like ad pops up for cartoon porn, and it's like Lois from Family Guy or something, and you're like, oh god, X, please.
Yeah, it's always so gross.
It's like that.
And then you go down the rabbit hole where you just keep clicking on more of them because you're like, dude, this is fucked up. This is fucked up, but I gotta see more. I've done a lot of looking up stupid shit. Sometimes me and Ali will just get drunk and look up like the most, like, just for ages right now, it's X Factor bad auditions. They're so like,
they're painful to watch,
painful
aren't
to
they?
watch, yeah.
You know what annoys me about the X Factor audition thing, the whole process, is that there's an audition you do. This is probably common knowledge by now. There's an audition you do before you get to the televised audition.
Yeah.
And during that audition, they will be like, yeah, you've got it. You're on TV. So they say that to the really shit people just so that they can go on TV and get made fun of. So they build them up. And that's why those people...
before the auditions that we see.
Yeah, and that's why those people look so shocked and upset when they're told that they're shit. Because the producers have been like, yep, you're good enough for TV.
We were collectively acquaintances with someone who went on an Irish version of the X Factor.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
like,
the voice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I could be totally wrong now, but I'm pretty sure there's auditions before they get on TV. And they're like, oh yeah, no, you go ahead. And then they go ahead, and that's why they're like...
Yeah. Yeah, and one time you and Ali, I presume you were drunk. I hope you were.
I hope I was too, if that's how that story starts.
This was like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And you both, right, from your separate Facebook accounts at the same time, sent me pictures of Robin Williams naked in some film.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Yeah, and he's a hairy guy. And I remember you being like, look how
Robin
small
Williams?
his dick is. Or it might. I'm nearly certain it was Robin
Are you sure
Williams.
it was me and Ali?
I am 100% certain of that.
On
you gonna check?
I'm going to fucking check right now because I don't message you that much.
yeah, that's true. The majority of it will be us organizing to do this podcast right now.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm finished now. You can pick me up at work.
Yeah. He's clicking in. He's scrolling. There's the picture of the microphone setup.
Oh, that's just all you being like, I can't record today.
This was a long time ago.
Oh,
like
we came up with
there's
this,
me at Burger Bar.
that was fucking great.
Yeah.
That was Because that was like, you should go to this place, and then you did, but it was in a different country, and it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, Brian sent me a Google map to.
That's a picture of us in Amsterdam before.
Nice. Yeah, he sent me a Google link to a restaurant in Amsterdam when I went to Amsterdam, and he was like, "Go to this place."
Yeah, because we had just gone like earlier on in the year.
Yeah, and it was so good.
Oh, great country.
Yeah,
great country. Really, really fun. People are all really friendly. It's super chill.
Yeah, man, we've had more conversations than I thought.
Yeah, what the fuck are we doing talking this much?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Like we should have done this podcast years ago. We had so much to say.
Yeah, some of these are long messages. Oh, there's my cigars from years ago.
I don't think I did that. I don't think I sent you those things.
Oh, that's from New Year's. I think
it would probably be better to go to Ali's Facebook.
Yeah,
she
probably
messages you a lot less.
It would be really there's
Jared
Leto as the Joker.
For whatever reason.
I assume it was me giving out about him.
This is so boring. We're just scrolling through Facebook. Anyway,
we'll
I'll not take your word for it. I don't believe I did that.
Okay, well I know that you did, and I'm after when we finish the podcast.
Maybe I did it, but I would never be like, look how small his dick is. That's mean, and I am not a mean person. Okay. I love Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams? You said Robbie Williams.
No, Robin Williams.
Oh shit. Now this is even worse because that dude's dead. Oh no. I thought it was weird when you said he was hairy because I was like, Robin Williams isn't hairy. He's got tattoos. But also, I like Robin Williams, and I don't think I said anything about his dick size. Dara is dying. Dara vapes for a living, so that's like.
Okay. Oh, I don't think we're going to finish on a better note than that, so that's a good time to wrap it up if you ask me.
All right, wrapping it up on Robin Williams' small dick, I think.
After this, when this is finished, we're going to post a picture of
Robin Williams.
of the Batman lamp to Twitter.
Oh, yes.
And we'll post a picture of Robin Williams.
Oh, I don't want to do that. That seems like
we'll put a black bar.
We'll put a black bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
no offense to Robin Williams.
No,
we're
not at all.
Robin
not
Williams
at all.
Fans. I love that.
Yeah, I love that guy. I've been watching clips of him on the Graham Norton show on YouTube.
I recently watched Good Will Hunting. That's
a great movie.
He's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. So that's whatever name we picked. Lost in translation. Lost the translation.
Lost the translation or translation lost.
Whichever we decide, you'll find out.
Yeah.
Next week.
You know what? It'll probably be written above this audio.
Oh, it definitely will. Unless we're complete fucking idiots.
Yeah, we'll have figured it out by then.
So how do you end a podcast? It's so fucking hard.
I just click stop. Bye.
Right now. Bye.